So, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Let's start the Ocean Dialogues on governance, talking about the challenges and opportunities for youth towards the ocean governance. It's the second roundtable proposed by SOA Brasil in collaboration with Ocean Hub, Cuiras, SOA, Ocean Uprise, and also Guardianas del Estuário and Servicio al Mundo. Did I say it right? My Spanish is not that good. And today we have here awesome panelists joining us from these organizations. But before starting our conversation, let's give a little bit of context how we ended up here. Because this year, during Brazil's G20 presidency, the Oceans 20 was born as a civil society engagement group on the ocean, coordinated by UNESCO Chair for Ocean Sustainability, in collaboration with the UN Global Compact, the World Economic Forum Fund, the Brazilian Biodiversity Fund, FUNBIO, and the National Institute for Ocean Research, INPO. So Marina, can you share the presentation? Thank you. The themes from 19 to 23 were marine pollution combat, IUU fishing, international cooperation and governance for sustainability, sustainable finance, technology development and scientific research, conservation, biodiversity, sustainable use of the oceans, and accelerating the transition to a sustainable and resilient blue economy. Next, please. So the topic of the ocean has been talked on the other G20 presidencies, but just this year is being launched in Brazil, as I was saying before. Next, please. And talking a little bit about the G20, within the priorities, the priority areas of discussion are social inclusion, combating hunger and resilience, energy transition and combating climate change, and the reform of global governance institutions. Next, please. And now a little bit about the ocean agenda. 5 priorities are being considered: the climate action and resilience, social equity and justice, health and conservation of ocean ecosystems and biodiversity, scientific, technological and innovation development, and governance and international collaborations. And that's it. I think there is no more presentation. So SOA Brazil was present at the launching at the Oceans 20 at March 18 at Casa G20 here in Rio de Janeiro. The midterm was held online on July 1st, where we learned a little about the ocean dialogues that have already taken place and will take place as well. And in addition, we had a look at some of the recommendations that have been already generated. And the Oceans 20 culminates in the Ocean Summit, which will be held in September in the Museum of Tomorrow, also here in Rio de Janeiro. And well, we were present at the launch and the midterm, and we understand the importance of the youth participation in decision-making processes, even more so considering that we are part of the Sustainable Ocean Alliance, the largest network of young ocean leaders around the world, with more than 7,000 young people present in more than 50 countries. And continuing SOA's motto to restore the ocean within our generation, we think a lot about the potential of everyone present here, both speakers and listeners. So let's get together and get everything we need for the ocean we want. Starting talking a little bit about myself. I'm Nayana Cordeiro, currently president of SOA Brasil. I'm a biologist, and I'm also developing Suambiental, which started as a beach cleanup project. And now is turning, since 2020, is turning into a social environmental business to work with marine waste management, environmental education focused on ocean literacy and research as well. I will start our panel here talking a little bit about our panelists and addressing a question to each one of you. And each one of you will have about 15 minutes to talk a bit more about your personal and professional lives and how is everything connected with the ocean's governance as well. So I would like to start with Mark Haver from SOA. He advocates for the ocean climate action and built and led SOA's inaugural youth policy program. He's the lead author of the Global Blue New Deal, led SOA delegations to COP26, COP27, COP28, and SBs 58 and 60. And he's a fierce campaigner against deep sea mining from the US, but has lived nomadically for 2 years. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. I would like to ask you a bit, to share a bit about SOA and also the importance of the youth in decision-making spaces such as international conferences. And share a bit of yourself as well.
Perfect. Hi guys, I'm Mark. Muito obrigado, Nayana e a SOA Brasil. Primeiramente, gostaria de agradecer a SOA Brasil pela oportunidade. É ótimo ver que todos vocês estão fazendo uma plataforma para que as vozes dos jovens influenciem o G20. Now I'm going to switch to English to share a little bit more about SOA and the importance of youth inclusion. So for SOA was essentially built by the idea that young people should be involved in decision-making around oceans. SOA was founded just about 10 years ago by a woman from Latin America, Daniela Fernandez. Her parents were from Ecuador, but she was a first-generation US citizen. And she had the opportunity to go to this incredible conference where they were talking about ocean solutions, ocean health, ocean problems. But she felt really alone in that room. She looked around and she saw that the room was filled with people who were discussing the problem, but not the solutions. And that this was the same group of people that had been making decisions about the ocean for decades. It was a group of old, rich, white, global north people. She said, with the crises that we have, we need to ensure that we're removing barriers for young people. Young people need to be here so they can promote their solutions and so that they can be adequately consulted in the creation of decisions that affect us, our future, and our future generations. It was this reason why SOA was founded. And in just a short time, just about 10 years, we've been able to grow this network to 7,000 young ocean leaders in over 150 countries, as Nayana had mentioned. It's truly been a pleasure to be part of this network. I first got involved through Daniela 7 years ago. From there, I created my own community, my own hub of SOA, where I went to university in Florida. And then I worked with Marina to do the first Youth Policy Advisory Council cohort for SOA. And this was an incredible experience because it really showed me the power of young people. It showed me the motivation that we have to make a difference and how valuable it can be for an unconventional approach to modern problems for even more modern solutions. Especially when we ask ourselves the question, why is it important to include young people in international events and conferences? There are so many reasons. One of the first reasons that comes to mind is simply the power of community building. Young people when united together, can initiate so much change. We simply need the accessibility to learn more about each other and each other's projects. When we're able to bring people from Brazil, Kenya, United States, wherever together, you're creating this army of young ocean leaders and of change makers who are doing something about a problem affecting them, their community, and the world, and trying to resolve it. When we're able to weave a web of people that can actually address this change, by connecting them, we encourage the coordination and collaboration that can strengthen the impact of their projects, both on a local scale and especially on a global scale. This isn't just a near-term benefit. Can you imagine if the leaders who will be sitting in the seats where all the photos are being taken at G20, if they all had known each other 40 years ago? What a difference that would make. When we're able to include young people in international conferences and international projects and have them get to know each other, you're creating the basis for a network that will be in those seats in some years' time. If we're able to create this bench of environmental leaders that understand what are the problems that youth are facing from all around the world and how we can cooperate and coordinate with each other to solve those problems, I just think about the power of what happens when we, as a unified cohort of young people, will be able to work together in leadership positions as we approach our mid-career and late career jobs. Additionally, it's really important to ensure that young people are present in these spaces because we as young people are growing up in a completely different reality from generations that have existed before us. I speak to you as a 25-year-old Gen Z, okay? Unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've seen my town destroyed twice by climate-related flooding, and I went to school in Florida where I had to evacuate my campus 3 years out of 4 because of intense hurricanes. This reality is not normal, but it's becoming our new normal. We as young people are not just talking about the problem. Our experiences motivate us to actually develop and implement solutions. We obviously are in this triple planetary crisis because we haven't taken enough action early enough. We both need to raise the ambition of action, and we need to get it done urgently. If we continue the status quo for how we're approaching these problems, then our solutions will be inadequate. I think it's so valuable for young people to be included in international events and conferences, as well as in decision-making, is because we are the least jaded by the status quo. We're coming in with a level of clairvoyance to our vision and our experience that allows us to remove the wool from our eyes and actually address the problems that are continuing the status quo and preventing us from actually being able to initiate the change that we need so that we can have a livable future. I think it's really important that young people can be included in decision-making, not just because of the power of community building, not just because of the solutions-oriented approach that we bring, but also because of the fundamentals of ocean governance at large. The foundation of the ocean as a resource is understanding that the ocean is our world's largest democracy. The ocean is a global commons. It's our world's largest global commons. In that, each of us is a stakeholder. If we're supposed to be stewards, if we're supposed to be managing a global commons as a democracy, then we all have a role to play. It is not just the people who are in power that should be able to be our representatives for our voices. We as young people from global north and especially from the global south should be included in these governance systems and processes so that we can make sure that our experiences and our voices can be represented as we consider the decisions that we will make surrounding how we manage our ocean and its resources. This is not just important for the sake of what good governance looks like, but we also need to think critically about the current state of affairs with respect to the sustainable ocean economy. The ocean economy is growing, which is great, especially when we think about sustainable development. there is a large role that the ocean can play in supporting the improvement of the well-being of people that live in marine and coastal zones all over the world, once again, especially in the global south. But if you have people who are separated from understanding the problems that we as young people face and being able to engage in a sustainable ocean economy, then they're going to be making decisions in an uninformed way that doesn't allow them to actually address the problems that we're seeing. We have so much potential as young people, and being able to offer those experiences and ideas as we co-create solutions for the problems that we see today, then we will be able to build a sustainable ocean economy that fits the needs of today and can develop a workforce of young people who are actually, once again, bringing their solutions to the table. And this is a really important part, though. I really am excited to see that we've been included in this Ocean G20 dialogue. I think over the last 5 years, we've seen an inflection point when it comes to youth engagement. It seems like the world is becoming more and more accepting of the fact that, yes, young people should be included. That's a win, okay? That's amazing to see. But that's actually only half the battle. Young people can come into these conversations and say whatever they need to say, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cause a change, because we might not be contributing at the same level as others who are informed and have the experience of working in these spaces. Yes, our perspective is still important, but we need to have the training. We need to be upskilled to be able to contribute meaningfully to these types of dialogues. For example, with SOA over the past 3 years, it's been an absolute pleasure being able to help elevate the need for ocean climate action at COP, to be able to bring youth from all over the world to raise this ambition for ocean and climate action. But this will hopefully be the first year where we can actually train them on how to follow negotiations and how to engage with country delegations so that they understand what are we asking directly to come from the outcomes of COP29. We all know this will be increasingly important. COP30 is in Belém next year, and we really hope that we can build the capacity for young people worldwide, not just part of SOA, to be able to contribute meaningfully and be able to raise the ambition for ocean climate action. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. I would like firstly to say that not only Mark, but all of you here are such an inspiration for me personally and professionally. And I would like to thank you so much for your words and your thoughts on us getting into decision-making spaces. So moving on to Habel Gomez. She is a conservationist, aquaculture technician, and founder of the Guardianas of the Estuary project, is strengthening women's participation in sustainable fishing and management of estuarine resources. And she has a special interest in the sustainable management of coastal marine resources. Thank you, Habel, for joining us today. And I would like to ask you, besides sharing a bit more about your work with fisherwomen in Guatemala, could you also share your vision about women in Global South working for ocean conservation and oceans governance as well? So I already see a bit of connection with what Mark was saying, that Daniela started alone first. At first, she started SOA alone. She felt alone, and she got together with more people. So I would like to ask you, how is your vision about women in Global South working for oceans conservation? And thank you so much for joining us today. And also another, a little bit of question, the intergenerational connection on your project, if there are more older women, or how is the connection with the youth on your project as well? Thank you so much.
Okay, hello, nice to meet you everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to see everyone. Okay, my name is Javier Gomez. I'm from Guatemala. I'm 22 years, and I am in my last year of studies. I'm doing my thesis with a coastal community of women, and I started this project called Guardians of the Estuary, or Guardianas del Estuario, which is a group of women in a coastal community that works collecting some mollusks from the roots of the mangrove. So I'm working with them, like, to how it's really important to take care of all these different aspects of the environment. And all these projects start when I was doing, like, I was collecting all the data for my thesis, and I noticed, like, the interest that these women have to do more. Not just I mean, I pay them to collect all this data, but they also show a special interest in to, like, take care of the environment, not just because of the money, because they really want to do it, because they know that they live every day, and they want to share all the knowledge that they have of this ecosystem. And that's, for me, it's like a big opportunity, because I love, like, scientific dissemination, and I want to share to everyone what they do and how they feel, and how they feel that connection with the ecosystem, right? Because sometimes for us that we live in the city or any other place, we don't feel that connection, like that close connection, for example, with mangroves or with coastal ecosystems, but they do. And I want to, like, share and contagious other people with the feeling that they have every time that they talk about mangroves, that they talk about their environment, and how they feel that connection with all the species that lives there, and all the knowledge that they have, like cultural knowledge and ancestral knowledge that they have of that ecosystem. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. And working with women, I don't know, I feel it's like magical. I mean, we're I work with young women and also older women. Like, I work with the whole family. For example, I work with the mom, with the sister, with the grandma, and also the daughter, or the small one kid. And yeah, I think that it's important to young women that have the opportunity to go to different dialogue spaces. But we also have, like, we need to, like, go to that communities and tell them all the things that we talk about in these big dialogues, where they sometimes they don't have, like, the opportunity to go, or they don't know what's going on outside that, or what the people, or the decisions that the people are making that are going to affect them. So when we go to that like dialogues or that big conferences, we have to go with them and tell them what's going on. I feel that that's like our homework when we have the opportunity to go to these big spaces, to go with them and also share with our country or our community what's going on. I feel like the women we're loud, we're happy, we are free spirit, we want to, like, everyone knows what we are doing, and that's amazing. That's what we are. I consider that we are, like, the key, the women from have the opportunity to go to these conferences, and the women, for example, that works with the mangroves and the community. We like to work. We like to to tell everyone what to do, right? So we have to use this in a good way, and we have to use this to create really good spaces and really good connections between different people from around the world in our country too. So yeah, that's basically what I think about the importance of women. I mean, we're like this key, and we want to make noise and tell everyone, okay, look, this has happened or whatever. And for me, that's amazing. That's like a superpower that we develop, and for me, that's enough to have the opportunity to go to these big spaces and to consider all these women to work with us and to create this connection between everything.
Thank you so much, Havel. I feel really the same about women in power, and I feel that we are kind of craving our spaces in big positions and having the final decisions as well, not only the manpower could actually do it. And actually, this topic about the fisherwoman and the fishermen and fisher people, I mean, in general, we actually started talking a bit about that on our first roundtable last week about marine waste management, because Beatriz Matiuso from Marulho was talking about the sharing of the traditional knowledge between the fisher people in Ilha Grande to use the traditional knowledge as a resource to beat marine pollution, about fishing ghost gears, I mean, sorry. And so I kind of already see many connections between not only us here around this table, but also between the topics that we are talking on our ocean dialogues as well. Thank you so much, Havel. And still talking about mangroves, I would like to ask Bruna Martins, or Bruna Mangueóloga. I will try to translate it to English as a specialist in mangroves. She's an oceanographer from Federal University of Pará, and she has masters in ecology and biodiversity conservation from the State University of Santa Cruz. She works with articulations and community engagement in the management of protected areas, for 10 years contributing to the agenda of youth protagonism on the Amazon coast. Thank you so much, Bruna, for joining us. And I would like to ask you, how do you use technology to improve the mangrove conservation in Amazon? If you apply any innovations, or do you use more the traditional knowledge to support your actions? And also, how is the youth involvement with conservation in your territory? Could you share your vision about the challenges and the opportunities that you are facing around there? Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. And thanks for the invitation. I'm super happy to be here. And my background is a mangrove, and right now I am in mangroves. I'm live and work in the mangroves of Brazil. Well, challenges and opportunities, we have a lot. I would like to start to make a reflection what Mark have said to us. I feel really happy to see that young are present in global events and have the opportunity to speak in global conference. And I believe that young people has to be in everywhere. And I believe that these are main challengers, because here in Brazil, especially in Amazonia mangroves, we are here in the largest continuous mangroves area. And well, we have put a lot of efforts to make young people happen at the local level. So sometimes we used to think as local level as smaller because it's local, but in fact, our local level here is huge. We are talking about more than 400 communities, more than 47 municipalities just in one state of Brazil. And I believe that here, one of our more challenges is connect young people in this largest area. We are basically set bases in small communities, sometimes island communities. So make the young people feel connected is one of our challenges. And I know that it's not just here in North region of Brazil. I know that we have the same challenges also in India, Malaysia, the South global countries. But we are facing, our main challenge is about dignity, life dignity. People still don't have access to a right education or health system or security. So this make a challenge for young people to feel engaged and connected with defense of
A Bruna caiu.
Yeah, I think her internet dropped.
Sorry, I just said it in Portuguese.
No worries.
Oh, should we wait for her to come back or should move on and then she continue later? I'm not, she just got back. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, it's back.
Bruna voltou?
Yes.
She got back.
And also internet connections. So the technology is still a barrier for us. But I was talking about how this basic life condition makes a huge barrier for youth engagement, and we are trying to remove this barrier by make the young people feel more closer to the defense of mangroves. So right now we created a Cuira network of young people in Amazon mangrove. Cuira is a kind of traditional slang, which means people who cannot be quiet. So here in Amazon, we call cuira for some people who don't want to be quiet. It's a kind of anxiety. So for us, is a desire to keep moving and try to defend our territories. Well, regarding technology, right now we are develop video catalog which will bring to us the traditional knowledge or ancestral technology that connect us with our territories using what our grandmothers, grandfathers used to use in the mangroves. So I believe that we need to put an effort to improve capacity young people so they can embrace the technology to show and spread the word our ancestor technology. And our communities has so much to show to the world how they can use the nature and traditional solutions and sustainable solutions to face climate crisis. And we need to use our technology, great cell phones, great programs to show this to the world. So right now we are trying to, our target in our network, in Korea's network, is try to improve equipment to the young people, equipment and capacity to the young people could show to the world, spread to the world our ancestor technology. And right now, I really believe there are our young people, they are the bridge to traditional knowledge, to scientific knowledge. And here in Brazil, specifically in North region, we have a lack of scientific data to show the progress of the mangrove conservation. The main knowledge that we have is the traditional knowledge from our communities. So the knowledge of our fishermen, of old people, and they are dying, they are passed away, and the sons and daughters, they are the bridge to don't let the knowledge died. So I really believe that use technology also to, we can register the knowledge, register all this traditional knowledge. They are they come from our grandfathers, grandmothers. Is so important. I am a granddaughter. My grandmother was a fisherwoman. My father used to extract crabs in the mangrove. So I am the new generation who try to make this bridge really happen. And I know that we have a lot of young people in the communities who want to do the same, but we need still need opportunity, and which opportunity, I mean, they need money. Recently, I've listened a podcast with Brazilian social environment CEO, and she talking about how the guardians of the forest will protect the forest without money. And I make the same reflection, how the young people in these small communities, but amount of communities will defend the mangrove if they don't have access to the funds and fundraising and also technology. I think that it's kind of connected, how we can access the technology to show our traditional technology if we don't have the funds and to get the equipment, get their equipment. So that's another challenger here. If we want that our young people be at the local governance, participating effectively of the municipality councils, marine protect areas councils, making part of decision process, if we want that our young people still be young leaders and make the engagement of the young communities, if we want that our young people show to the world the power of traditional knowledge, we need money to this. And right now, for me, it's one of the challenges. Right now we are around a network with 17 young people in 16 municipalities in more than 300 hectares of mangrove area. So it's the largest area. We need to connect a lot of young people. We need to show the power of this community. We need different mangroves, and we need help to this. So, well, it's a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities. I have put my efforts on young people since, because I started in this challenging being a young people. So I have put my efforts on that, and I'm really happy that we are around this dialogue, around this subject, because the power is with us. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes I speak very fast, but okay, I hope that you get the main idea.
Thank you so much, Bruna. I don't even know what to say, because traditional knowledge is life for me. I've done my final thesis on graduation about using the traditional knowledge to understand the decline of a species of fish. So for me, it's kind of personally connected with the subject as well. And for sure, we need not only to support traditional extractivists, indigenous, quilombolas communities, but not only the communities, but also the youth from that communities as well, and to spread the knowledge, not only in the community, and to give continuity to the answers on knowledge, but to share the knowledge with the world, because I think we can for sure use the power of the SOA network as well to spread it with the aliens. And thank you, more than thank you, welcome to the network as well. And thank you for sharing with us. Now moving on to Vitor Bezerra. Vitor is my personal friend as well. He is conservationist by passion, photographer by vocation. He survived brain cancer at 5 years old and was saved by the ocean at 10, when he snorkeled for the first time, discovering a world where he could be free and confident. He has a degree in graphic design from ESPN Rio, with several courses in wildlife photography and travel journalism. Today, he seeks to save the ocean through communication and photography to raise awareness. Thank you so much for joining us, Vitor. Could you share with us a little bit about how the ocean is connected to your personal resilience and how you use your work to inspire other people to get more knowledge and to care about the ocean. Also sharing as well a bit about the work that Ocean Uprise is doing to engage youth towards ocean governance. Thank you so much for
Guys,
joining us.
thank you for having me. Yeah, my personal story is truly connected with my professional development as well. Uh, Everything began like when I was 5 years old. I survived this brain cancer. I went through two surgeries to remove it, like one in February and one in August. So like in 10 days, it's my 25-year anniversary free from cancer. And yeah, it was very interesting because after many years of therapy, it took me to understand the connection between my story and the ocean conservation. When I turned 10 years old, my grandparents took me for the first time to a coastal city 2 hours away from Rio de Janeiro called Paraty, and we made a boat trip there, and it was the most amazing experience when I wore the mask, snorkel, and fins, and I could see the underwater world for the first time. It transformed me because when I say the ocean saved my life, because after that 5-year-old age, everything got very really messy. I had no friends. I suffered a lot of bullying at school, and sorry for my voice, guys. I'm a little bit sick for the last few days, but uh, and then it was very hard until I turned 10 and I had this first experience. And when it took me like many years to figure out that the ocean has a healing ability when you're floating there and gravity can't act over you. You just feel so confident that nothing can hit you when you're snorkeling. And when I was and as I got older, I really wanted to scuba dive, but the doctors didn't allow me to because of the pressure, because of the risks involving scuba diving. And so I got really attached to snorkeling because and it showed me that snorkeling can be a huge door opener for people who don't know the ocean, because it's accessible and always it's cheap, it's accessible for any people, and it doesn't have any restriction to physical shape, age, anything actually. So I really believe that snorkeling has this power, uh, moved by what Jacques Cousteau said, that we only love what we only care for what we love, and I think that we only love when we are there, and snorkeling has this power. So after, as I was saying, after a lot of years of therapy, I finally understood that the question that makes communicating ocean conservation so hard is the same point that I have in my life. If you see someone with a physical disability, let's say someone that lost an arm or a leg, it's kind of easier to have compassion for that person, to have empathy, because you can see the problem. When we watch the Paralympic Games, it's incredible because you can put yourself into that person's shoes and think, wow, that person doesn't have a leg, and that person is running a marathon. And that is really incredible. It inspires me as well. But my point is not to say that that person's problem is less than mine. It's not. It's sometimes even harder. But invisible diseases have the same problem as ocean conservation. The ocean suffers from invisible diseases just like I do. Okay, I survived 25 years ago. Nice. That works. It's fantastic. But the survival journey didn't end there 25 years ago. I keep surviving every day. I have to take 5 medicines for the rest of my life. I have to deal with obesity for the rest of my life, and deal with taking medicines to control the obesity and all the hormones that my body can produce because my brain can produce. So if a person sees me walking on the street and I start running, maybe to cross the road, and I have suffered from that many times, like, go on, run, fat guy, because that person can't see what I'm going through on the inside. And I think that I started, because of that, I started studying a lot about empathy and reading a lot about empathy. And at first I thought that the problem was we can't have empathy for what we can see, but the root of this problem is deeper, because empathy is kind of dependable on proximity, because in time and in distance. So if we don't have empathy for the ocean, okay, that's one point, because we can't see the corals bleaching every day. We can see acidification. We can see a lot of things, a lot of issues that the oceans go through. But maybe it is easier if we try to raise awareness for the need of empathizing with the future generations, for the kids that are 5 years old, 3 years old today, because everything that we're discussing here now is actually about them. Because what future are we leaving for them? I had the great fortune of snorkeling in a clear ocean 25 years ago. Will the next generation have this opportunity as well? So that's what I think, that it's ultra important for us to empathize with the ocean. Yes, because we need to understand that uh, to shape the mind of people, that the ocean isn't just a source of entertainment or food. Is our life support into to our planet, to our lives. And we have to understand and to empathize that what we are doing today will reflect on the kids of today, on the next generations. So that's why I decided 6 years ago to try to make a living out of underwater photography and activism and conservation, because I think that really only images can change that. We can say whatever we want. It's very important to raise awareness through saying and talking, but when we show, like, this place has this kind of marine life. We have a place here in Rio de Janeiro, which is very famous. It's Ipanema Beach, and the corner of Ipanema Beach has a rock. And after all these years snorkeling with my family, the snorkeling trips stopped, and I had to find somewhere else to snorkel. And I found this rock, Arpoador Rock, and it was like a beautiful summer in Rio. The water was crystal clear. It was very beautiful. And okay, I'll try to go there. I found a lot of marine life this day. Like, I saw many stingrays hiding under the sand. I could count like 10 stingrays. So that day I noticed that even on urban places, urban beaches, we have still plenty of marine life thriving to survive in that harsh conditions, because it's the pollution every day, plastic, urbanization, everything is happening in those places. So, and through photography, I could go there, dive there, and take those pictures and show people that, okay, we still have marine life here. What can we do to protect it? And I think that even as global voices, I believe that we can help other movements. We can help SOA. We can help Ocean Uprise. I forgot to talk about Ocean Uprise. Sorry, but in that moment, I'll get back to it. And like huge moments like Mission Blue. I think all of us here know Mission Blue, and most of us here know Silver Earl, and we really have to help them with their movements, because, like, in my opinion, as a communicator, we have a movement, like a huge movement, like Mission Blue Hope Spots, uh, which has kind of a poor communication in our own countries. Nearly every country in the world has a Mission Blue Hope spot, and who knows about it? That's something that today, as an Ocean Prize ambassador, I have been thinking what can we do to raise awareness for hope spots, because that's really important. We need to act together, because Mission Blue is so big that if we start being active voices for them, we can help the movement, we can help the world, we can help many things. So, and just to close this, Ocean Prize is the youth initiative for Parlay for the Oceans, and Parlay is a global movement helping clean up. But until 2 years ago, they were very known for beach cleanups, and they are moving for more artivism based activism. So they have been focusing on design actions and solutions. So as an Ocean Prize is this branch that focuses on generating new activists, young activists. So they have like two branches. One is two parts of this movement. The first part is more about is the internship. So it's a six week internship, and then which I went through in the beginning of the year. And then if you apply, and I was selected to be an ambassador, which is a 6-month period. So I'm the first Brazilian ambassador for Ocean Prize, and my project is focused on technology. And I'm doing a VR screening for kids at schools and hospitals to take the ocean through virtual reality, because we are here among people that have certainly have gone diving for sometimes, that know the underwater world, and those kids and those people that can't. How can we make them fall in love for the ocean if they can't go diving? So that's my focus. I'm sharing my story as a means to get people involved with ocean conservation first, and also with kids getting these VR headsets and presenting them the underwater world. So that's a little bit of what I've been doing. A little bit, not a long story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. I'm almost crying, actually, as you can see it. Well, I already told you that before. You are really an inspiration for me personally and professionally. All of you are, but your history is something else for me, you know. Thank you so much. Such a huge history of resilience and of connection with the ocean as well. I think you have an awesome storytelling. You're an awesome communicator, and thank you for sharing with us, and congratulations on everything, on your life resilience, on your work, on your project with Ocean Prize. Seriously, I'm really proud of you, and personally and professionally, as you as a person and as a professional. And I'm really happy to have you here sharing your story with us. And as I told you before, I see many connections, not only with the personal and professional lives here, but also with all the topics proposed on the Ocean Dialogues, on SOA Brasil Ocean Dialogues. And thank you so much. And now with Pedro. Pedro Dantas from Ocean Hub. He's a university student studying business administration at Federal University of Bahia. He's a lover of technology, innovation, and problem solving. He's the co-founder of Ocean Ride, which is a project champion of the largest innovation marathon in the world, which is NASA Space Apps. They've enrolled in 2019. And he's also the co-founder of the Ocean Hub, a hub for impact projects for the oceans in Bahia. And also, just saying a little comment, we had Genilson from Ocean Ride at our last table, and it was awesome as well. Thank you for having you here, Pedro. I would like to ask you how you see the role of the hub, your hub, I mean, in solving ocean challenges. How is the selection process of the projects to join the hubs, the hub, and I mean, to share a bit more about the hub, and also how can we further finance, get more further finance support for the development of different projects, and what are the key challenges associated with the impacts, the impact reports, and everything connected with what you are doing in Bahia. How can we both spread more the projects and everything that you are doing? And thank you very much for joining us. And now I think we have another connection here, because we're talking about inspiration, the ocean as inspiration, and inspiring people for taking more care about the ocean and engage more in oceans governance. Thank you.
All right, perfect. For me, it's such a pleasure to be here, even after listening to all these stories that really impact me and empower me to tell mine now. It's really a pleasure. Actually, I got one of Mark's ideas. There is our generation is born in the solution creations, and that's exactly what happened with me and the other guys in the team. We started in the middle of the business administration university to face a challenge of the largest marathon innovation in the world promoted by NASA. And we are here in Salvador, a coastal city, and we are full of oil in our beaches in this time. And we decided to choose a challenge for the oceans. And we created, not being a ocean student, not being any connected area of knowledge to the ocean, just a business student, we created a solution to clean microplastics from the ocean. And since that time, we started developing our connection with the ocean. Of course, we are living in a coastal city. We have a routine with the ocean, with the beaches, but not exactly looking at the hiding problems, as Victor said, that the oceans have and we need to take care. So this is a starting point for us, because since that time we saw the power of the university, the power of the school, the power of the education for us to create solutions, for us to be in such a highest point as a NASA headquarters. And we saw that we need to multiply that for the youth, for the other students, and we started that in our university. And also we did that for 600 students in the municipality and government schools, for elementary and medium schools. And we decided to create more projects around the history we are living, and we designed some projects for education. There is one that we call Ocean Experience. There is a project with this exactly idea of bringing our project, our ideas, what we learn from the oceans to schools, and to empower these youth people to think about solutions, to understand our problems and understand our goals with our project, so they can take this knowledge to their lives, and also to connect them with the oceans. We also developed a arm dedicated to culture, where we develop a documentary that we film everything of our trip to NASA to show them how win a huge prize, how be in this type of environment is really important and is accessible as a Brazilian to think that we can do this and we can take our ideas and our potential to these places. And we are also now recording, and we started this year a web series to show us during the year, during doing all this impact in the youth people and also being in great places for us. And along these 5 years, we are trying to take our idea out of the paper, facing the challenges and difficulties of creating a project, developing a solution, creating a hardware solution, and that's difficult in Brazil for a normal basis. If you say that your solution is for the ocean and they only can see the impact a long time after the solution is ready, it's even difficult to create this path. So we are always trying to get the best connections, to get the best uh, network to help us to do this. And in this meanwhile, we actually started to be even more connected with the oceans. To design our project, to develop the solution, we need to start building this connection and looking way into the ocean to learn. And that's what I think is important in connecting the youth with these in spaces of decision making, because each one of us has a different experience and a different connection with the ocean. And as a youth people, we have a much more clear vision to the next generations, and they see a lot of approximation in us. So it's a way easier form to spread the word, to talk to them, to be more acceptable with what we say than an old person with nothing in common with them. So it's important to put youth people in these stages so they can be listened to the other youth people. And we started this year in 2021. We begin to be an ambassador of Ocean, Voice of Oceans, and that's really cool for us because we get to many opportunities and to many spaces with them and feel this connection with the ocean, visiting the boat and doing some conversations was really good. And it was actually a key partner for us because in 2023, after the pandemic, we finally have our invite to go to the NASA headquarters in Washington, and they help us to have connections with MIT, Harvard, and other places in the USA. That was really important for us to create this kind of connections and see what the world has beyond Brazil. And that gives us a feeling that for the resources we have here, the eyes we have here, looking at our projects, we are doing such amazing things and huge things with so much resources that if we try to create for us this environment that really empower solutions, empower people, spread these connections and this knowledge about the oceans through the society, we will be like a huge potential country to develop the future solutions. So with that, we started this movement, and this year we are trying to talk to a lot of decision makers from Brazil, and it's really difficult to talk with those people because they are really on a rush day with full agendas, and it's really difficult. So we face a challenge after going to NASA to go to the UN Ocean Decade in Barcelona, and we did it actually without uh, enough resources, doing a lot of magic things to do this, but we did it and it was amazing. And that's a huge step for us because being there makes these connections, this network with the people we need to be in touch possible. And for example, I met Mark in the Our Ocean in Greece, and I wasn't even uh, a part of this event because I only know about it like 10 days before the trip, and the submissions was way before. But being in Barcelona, getting access to SOA people over there in the private event, make them see our story and say, of course, you can go there, please. This you can be a part of it, and that makes us the opportunity to be in the second conference. So one thing leads to the other, and these connections and this environment really help the project, the business, the uh, community to be way more uh, valuable. So it's an important place to be. And after all that, we came back to Brazil, noticing that our education projects, our uh, culture projects, our technical development projects, they are all facing ocean problems. And we decided to have a new position as a team, and we created the Ocean Hub. I saw Nana saying Ocean Hub, but we are planning to be Ocean, and the X is just a tiny thing from Salvador, but it's really okay because it's a global name, so it will be actually Ocean at some point. But that's the idea. We developed this hub to, of course, continue developing our projects that is already going on, but to create this environment I was saying to help even more projects along the way to become reality and to create this ecosystem here in Salvador for now. But we are hoping to be a national and maybe a global hub because, as you might know, Salvador is the capital of the Blue Amazon. And as Victor said, we listen to Silver Earl in Greece, and if there's no blue, there's no green. So it's important to look at the Blue Amazon and to be this spot that, with great connections, with the youth connections, we can deliver the city and the state and the country to do things the right way. And that's what we are doing now. I think that one of the biggest challenges we have is exactly with the creating this development technical production because it is really difficult to create a project in Brazil to even develop any kind of solution for any problem. And doing that for the ocean, I think it's a huge challenge because there is a lot of difficult to achieve investments, to achieve the right developing skills, to build a team that is actually connected with the ocean and seeing the importance of a project, not only looking for investments and returns, because we know so much. We don't know so much about the oceans. We don't have that many data. And it's also an effort to develop these solutions, to collect this data, to get more studies, and to understand more about what we are trying to solve it. So it is really difficult to do that. But there's a interesting part of this because if we are since the beginning only focused on developing the solution and create this hardware, we are probably not going to create the education project, the culture project. We will not try to be in these places to connect with these people, and probably we will be not here today talking about it and telling this story. So that's a great path we are doing, but our goal is exactly to facilitate this process to the next generation, to the next solutions, and to be really this place on earth that you can bring your ideas, you can bring your solutions, and you can find somebody, some people that is really willing to help you to do this. So we are now looking at the next year for our first prototype in the ocean ride, the first functional one that can go in the water and hope we can clean some microplastics. And we are also in this semester starting our project in 4 schools to bring the ocean experience for the students and hope to see them uh, evolving and being another with this mentality and this knowledge we are trying to give them. And I hope to give you the guys the great notice in the end of the year about the release of our documentary. And next year, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to watch our web series about all those conferences, but as well all of those experiences with the students and everything we did for the year. And now we are also creating the SOA hub in Salvador to start doing this impact we are striving for doing here in Salvador, connect with this global network. There is the thing that matters the most in the end of the day. It's of course the impact each one of us is doing individually, but I think that everybody said the importance of being a community, to sharing our knowledge, to understand the problems in different point of views, and that's what we are trying to do here, and to give also voice for many different people, and to try to create more stories like ours. I think as a Brazilian, we need to believe in our potential, in our culture, in our creativity, and I think the world knows about it, but we need to be in the spotlight to show what we can do, to be there, to make our voices be listened, because if we do everything we can with the resources that we can, and we know in Brazil that is really difficult, I think it's our duty to create in Brazil the environment and the necessary tools to make our voice to be listened. So that's our goal in the Ocean Hub, and I think that's everybody's here goal. So I'm really glad to be in this opportunity, and I think this is a huge step for the youth for us to be loud and listen in our country, but also an example of what we can do worldwide to spread the youth voices.
Thank you so much, Pedro, for sharing, and congratulations on your awesome work with Ocean Hub, not Ocean, and Ocean Ride as well. Now I've learned it's not with an X. And well, I've thought about a few things listening to you, because actually, Mark, are you still there? Because I think I have another question for you mostly, but I think it's for everybody, but I think Mark would know how to answer it. How can we support ECOPs from all of the world to attend more the events? And I mean, here I'm talking from Brazil, and we know that Brazil has more than 8,000 kilometers of coastline. So it's huge place with many professionals and young professionals, I mean, working towards the ocean conservation. So how can we support more, not only ECOPs from all over the world, but mostly the Global South ECOPs? Do you have anything to share about it?
Definitely. And it's definitely a problem. Okay, there's a lot of opportunity and privilege that I get as someone from the United States that you all do not get from Brazil or from Guatemala. The reality is that I can go to so many countries just because they see me as a US citizen, they let me in, no problem, no visa, whatever. That is not the same reality that a lot of people from the global south face. I think it's so important for us to approach environmental issues with an intersectional perspective. We need to make sure that we approach environmental issues not solely from a scientific perspective, but also one that includes and incorporates social equity. Otherwise, we're not going to understand how we can actually approach these problems in a comprehensive and cohesive way. So I would say continue working to change how our global systems prevent young people from being able to attend these conferences, like obstructive visas. It's ridiculous that we have so many beautiful, amazing, inspiring young people that we invite to events like the Our Ocean Youth Leadership Summit. And we even provide them the letter for them to go to their embassy, and we try and provide them the funding for them to go. But it's already so much more expensive. You have to travel to and from the embassy, which may not even be in your country, may not be even in your state. And then you have to pay for the fees. And then even if your visa is rejected, they're not like, okay, here's your money back. They still keep the money. So there's a problem because we're expecting people who already have less to go through so many more hoops to get the same level of access. So once again, just continuing to call that out, I think is really important. There are organizations that work to resolve that. Like I know Climate Delegation starts with a K, like Clima Delegación would be one of them, and they do access to the UN climate change conferences in June to try and call out that issue. In terms of not just addressing the problem, but how do ECOPs and young people get involved? I would say organizations like SOA are a really helpful mechanism for getting involved because there are opportunities. For example, we have the Our Ocean Youth Leadership Summit. We hope that SOA will be one of the lead partners for the Youth Leadership Summit at the Our Ocean Conference in 2025 in South Korea. Next year, there will also be the UN Ocean Conference in France, and we hope that SOA will be able to support young people's attendance as well. And last but not least, we have a conference scholarship budget as well for the global community. That's not very large, but it can go to support the professional development and travel for young people to participate in these meaningful multilateral spaces. However, those are still all competitive opportunities. So I would say that it's really difficult for us as young people to find funding to support travel. One of the things that I've learned very recently is that if you are doing fundraising, there's more and more attention put on impact metrics, even for event attendance and participation. So meeting with people who fundraise and meeting with donors to understand what are their expectations of what you need to include in a funding proposal is really important. Because you can say, you should fund me to go to this conference because it would be so great for me, it'd be great for the organization, it could help this, but they have something very specific they want to support. So just being mindful as well of like, how do we meet the demand with the supply? How do we ensure that our funding proposals are accurately written to give ourselves the best chance of being able to secure that funding, which unfortunately is limited. And so maybe that brings me to my last point. I was going to end there, but it kind of begs the larger problem and question of there's not enough money. There's not enough money in oceans, okay? It's the least funded sustainable development goal. But why are we going to the same people? If the pool for funding is so small, if we keep jumping into that same pool and now there's more of us than ever, that means there's less money per person, per project, per organization. We need to go beyond what we've been doing with ocean action. We need to go into the energy spaces. We need to go to the climate spaces. We need to invite them in, and we need to branch out. Otherwise, people are not going to break the pool. We need to hack the pool, bring more people into the funding pool for oceans. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that answered. Thank you. And now I would like to ask our moderators, Marina and Amanda, if we have any questions from the audience, because I'm not sure if you have any. And Habel wants to talk. The mic's up.
I just would like to, yeah, thank you. I just would like to add something important that Mark said. And just don't get frustrated if you don't have the money or the help to go to attend any like convention or event. Just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and don't get frustrated and stop to compare with the other people because they go to many events. Just focus on yourself and what you want to do, and when you got that opportunity to go to other place, just take advantage of that and do something with that you learned, and try to share with other people that you know that is trying to do the same. Just share. Now that you have the opportunity, just share with them that what are you learning of the topics that you're talking about in that conference. So yeah, don't get frustrated and just keep trying. There's so many applications, and just keep applying and applying and applying, and you're gonna do it. In some application, you're gonna get it. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Habel. I would like to add something as well, just before Caroline is the next one with the hand raised. At first, I joined SOA Brasil to try to amplify Brazilian youth voices, because I was the only Brazilian at the Youth and Innovation Forum in Lisbon 2022. And I tried to understand how could I spread the word about the network of SOA, and try to understand how to connect the different regions and realities of not only Brazil, but Latin America in general, to amplify these spaces. So I think it's great, really great what we are doing here, to sharing our visions and to try to not only engage our own communities, but engage the territories in local and regional and global scale as well. Thank you so much for that. And next one, Caroline, if you want to open your video as well.
Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm with a,
What a cute baby.
yeah, my daughter, she's sick and not going to daycare today. Yeah, it was really nice to listen to all of you. Yeah, I know. And I think my question would be, I don't feel that old, but I'm a bit older. And when I studied about 20 years ago, I feel the message was like, don't worry, like government are going to do something. It was less than 10 years after the Rio conference, and there had been the Tokyo Protocol, and my teacher, everyone was really hopeful, like it's going to happen. And 20 years on, it's like almost nothing happened. And I feel like I missed the train. When I did a PhD in fundamental science, and when I had to work again, I was like, no, I have to do something local. I have to, do something that's gonna make, even if it's just local and a small difference, I need to do something for the ocean. And I worked a bit on the plastic pollution in the ocean. And then I had 4 kids, so I had lots of kids and couldn't focus so much on science and the ocean. Yeah, I know, you're frustrated. And so my question would be like, how can I make it different for you guys? Like what can we do? I mean, I'm going back to work, and I'm really wondering what to do next. So in a way, I feel very young, because I feel like, okay, let's, feel like I'm starting again and focusing on a new path. But how can we make voices of young people heard? Because I feel that she is the next one and she can't speak yet, but you can, and you're doing so many amazing things. So thank you for that. And how can we support you as maybe, older people? I'm not old, and and I'm not really much into science and policy, but when I heard like there was GV coming to Rio, and I'm living in Rio for 10 years, and I'm like, how can I make my voice and the voice of people that matter heard? Not only mine, but like all the communities, like the fishermen community around the Baía de Guanabara in Rio, which is highly polluted. And when I worked around plastic, they were saying like, we start to have more plastic than fish, like the traditional fishermen here. And you're just like, what can I do about that? And how can I, you know, because me trying to shop better and like the tiny things, okay, but how can I make a bigger difference? So seeing you and your project is really inspiring, but if you have any more feedback about what else should we do?
Thank you so much for your question, Caroline. Well, I'm actually almost out of the youth window. I'm 32. In Brazil, I'm already out of the window of the youth because it's 29. So I'm really thankful about the intergenerational conversation. Does any of you want to answer that, our panelists? And afterwards, Pedro can talk
Actually, I would like to. I would want to add, I think, for what we are saying before, before we jump into that question. Is it possible? All right. So, as Mark was saying, that we need to make this pool bigger, and Havel was saying that we don't have to lose our hope and keep trying. I think that our example is a thing that maybe getting into more details is a thing that could be important for someone to listen, is that we have a better view of our project if we try to think about the business a little bit, because we do this in the last year for the NASA trip that we need to do. And you can also talk about the impact you do in a local basis to help you to be more acceptable for these sponsors or investors. Because if you are doing something in your local city and you are doing a great impact, that will be relevant as an institution or as a person in your city, and that can make these stakeholders from your city to have a better look at you. So we decided to find sponsors here in our city, and as I said, we are not looking exactly into sponsors that are already connected with the oceans, and creating other solutions and other products. We can understand what they are looking for, and they can help us doing what we are looking for. So an example of that is the documentary. Some enterprises don't want to be at NASA, don't want to necessarily see us at NASA, but having a film with the logo mark over there, and having a film that will empower youth people, this product actually is worth for them, and creating a sub product that is worth for the investor make them help us do what we need. So in this project, we raised 250,000 reais last year to do this trip, and also to develop our project, creating other projects that is actually worth for these investors, and creating a brand and also a marketing strategy to be more valuable for them. So it's important to have this view that sometimes you can create more things or do other things in your own work that will be valuable for those who are supporting supporting financially.
Abel, you can go on.
Yeah, well, I would like to say to Caroline, that she already just told us, that the answer actually it was in her arms, because we are disseminator with children and family and friends, and she's like a mother, and seeing mothers involved in these dialogues results in educator and aware children on these issues for a better future. So yes, that's what I want to say.
I don't know if she left or if she lost her connection, but I would also like to say about it.
She left because she needed to go. She typed on the chat,
Oh,
but she
thank you.
will listen to the replies afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know about it. But I would also add that we need more intergenerational conversations, and we need to have more space open so we can share our voices, not only the older people from the academia, like the professors, the PhD, not only the PhDs, but also the early careers students as well. Well, personally, I just did my graduation and a specialization course. I'm not a master, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a PhD student. So I feel sometimes it's hard to connect with the science area, not going on post-graduation as well. But I love to research, I love to be in that kind of environments. But I feel that there is the need to have more connection in that aspect, and also to pop the bubble from the university and share the technical knowledge, and not only the technical but also the traditional knowledge, to spread the word about the knowledge in general, and to make it feasible to share it with everybody, um, not only thinking about the actual location, if it's near or if it's far the ocean, if it's a vulnerable community, or if it's a rich community. We need to try to understand how to pop the bubble, and to try to understand how the knowledge from other people, not only the traditional knowledge, but all the common knowledge, can be exchanged between the things that we are doing right now, and the knowledge they already have from universities and from research spaces as well. I think would be that the thing that I would like to add about it. And Vitor?
Yeah, just to add to what you were saying about how can we get to these spaces? I think that even more than okay, I have a major, but as a communicator, I feel that a lot. Maybe especially here in Brazil. I don't know how it works elsewhere, but uh, the scientific communication space is very close to people who are working on this for ages. So we have like here in Rio de Janeiro a few projects. There are not many projects related to ocean conservation, but let's say sorry, maybe 5 projects, and most of them have one person that work for them in the photography space, communications, and these are people that have a lot of experience, and I don't see how we can get all that experience if they don't have space for them, for us, you know. So like I can reach, I don't know, maybe 3 projects, and they will always have that position filled because someone else is doing that longer. Okay, I'm not trying to compete with anyone else. I'm just trying to have one space for me. I think that that's why last year I volunteered with an international project called Darwin 200. Anyone here must know about it. I think it's very interesting because all of us are young people, and it's a very nice project for everybody here. And after that I had an Instagram focused on ecotourism, trying to share more about snorkeling, the importance of snorkeling. And after coming back from this project, I spent like 1 month with them, and I decided to close my Instagram and focus on science, more on conservation, ocean conservation, Instagram, and in English, because as I was saying before, there's a lot of prejudice, especially in Brazil. Like, okay, if you are fat, if you don't have a regular voice, uh, well, all of these things, they got in the way for me, and I was like, okay, I don't want to talk to Brazilians anymore. It it's very tiring because they don't want to listen to what I'm saying. They want to pay attention to my physical shape. So that's why I decided to open a new account and start from ground zero and speaking in English. And but I think that if you take Instagram from your way and focus on the career itself, it's very hard because you don't have space, because the NGOs don't want to open it up for you. So I think that that's one way that other generations that are ahead of time could help us younger people to have this space and build, because like 20 years ahead, that person that is 50 or 48 today, that person won't have much space in the future. Not because this person will have the ability to do, but because this person will be older. And who's gonna make the same work 20 years in 20 years? It's gonna be us. So if we don't have that space today, how can we have space in the future? That's what I wanted to say, because I think we have this limitation, especially here in Brazil. I don't know in the rest of the world, but that's something I wanted to add.
Thank you so much, Vitor. Bruna, you can go as well. And just remark, I would I would like to ask 2 more questions to everybody, so we can after Bruna, I ask the questions, and then we can do our closing remarks, if that's okay for you all.
Yeah, okay. Just to add to our discussion here, I would like to jump a little bit of academic knowledge and community knowledge. I think that this is a background that's still going on, but about making space, as Victor said, I would like to add the importance of the building of capacity to young people being part in local governance. I think the local governance is the main space to put everyone together. And I know that especially us in South global countries, we have a long path to build of democracies. And we, especially in Amazon region, we have our councils are very weak, and there's a lot of municipalities who don't have councils, which is the opportunity for our democracies and social organization being part of the discussion at the local level. So I just like to add the importance of our building this space at the local governance. And by this, I'm saying to building capacity to young people, being part of making decisions at this local level. And maybe academic and another NGOs and communities and the municipalities could be more prepared to make decisions together. When we talk about young protagonists, we don't say there is just young people, but we have this capacity to bring the community with us. We are so enabled to connect the oldest one, the youngest one, and this would like to say to Caroline that young people is the tomorrow generation. We have this, we born to connect generations. So when a young people is talking, they're not talking by yourself, it's talking about the grandparents too, and the importance of strength the local governance in the democratic spaces for decisions, just to add this to our conversation. So right now I'm not put my effort on social media. Okay, I recognize there is a front in our battles, but I have choose to fight in bring space, making space happen at local governance. So it's very battlefield for us. We are guardians and warriors at the same time. So is a mosaic of possibilities to young people act in our societies for our ocean, for our coastal areas, coastal ecosystem as well.
Thank you so much, Bruna. You said we are ocean warriors. Hi, Mark. You are his Instagram is ocean warriors, so we are all ocean warriors. So to close our panel today, I have two short questions. If you had a magic wand, what change would you make in the current ocean governance structure? And given all we have discussed so far, what you are most hopeful about? These two questions. And you go raising the hand so we can line up everything. You can go, Mark.
Okay, so if I had a magic wand, I think I would go for the UN climate change system. And if I could change it, I would say, okay, every country will have the ocean included in their nationally determined contributions, both for mitigation and adaptation. Same thing with their national adaptation plans. And the ocean would be included in mandates for the direction of climate finance mechanisms. That would be great. That'd be awesome. And then in response to your second question, what gives me hope? I mean, I cannot imagine the potential just on this call for how much change we will enact over our lives. You all are so inspiring, and I know all of us know so many other young people who are doing amazing work for the ocean and for our planet and for our communities. So truly, I think the reason why I feel like my climate anxiety is something I can manage is really just because I see so many young people doing amazing things and it's so inspiring. It just makes me feel like I'm not alone. So thank you to you all. You all are my inspiration.
Thank you so much, Marquinhos. You can go, Victor.
Well, if I had a magic wand, I think I would make people, I would, my dream is that every coastal area would be a marine protected area, because we really don't know the value of our beaches in terms of biodiversity. So if I had a magic wand, that's what I would do. I would transform any coastal area into marine protected, because we need to, everything starts in the places that we really don't know. As I was saying, when I started snorkeling in the most urban beach and tourist beach here in Rio, I found out a lot of marine life living beneath the surface. So that's what I would do. And what gives me hope is that, like Mark said, we still have some people on the battlefield trying to save the ocean. And I think that what gives me most hope is that we have some very inspiring people and ancient people here in our fields, like Sylvia, like Jane Goodall, and like many people that started paving this path for us to go through. And that gives me hope that the path is paved, and some people not as much as we would like to, but some people are trying to follow it. So that gives me hope.
Thank you so much, Victor. Pedro?
So if I have a magic wand, I'll probably add the oceans as a class in the scholarly curriculum, so we can see the youth people coming from the schools and getting into the university and being adult with this mentality, so we can see better choices, better things that we are going to propose and fight for as a society. And what gives me the best hope after all we did here is that I think it's really cool to see that we are not in a competition and trying to have the best stage position and the best spotlight for ourselves. It's really cool to see how everybody I met in this environment is always willing to bring you in and give you access and connect you with people. And I think that this is one of the most important things when we are creating a true network. And I don't see that in other ecosystems beside the ocean one. And I'm really proud to be here and think that's a consequence of this mentality. So I think that's my two answers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Girls, who wants to go first? Vai, não vai? Who?
You can go.
You can go, Luna.
Nobody so much things. For the first question, I try to connect people with nature and somehow make people realize that we are part of it and we need to protect because it's our protection. And for this, I don't know, like make the possibility of each community have the basic dignity of life. So provide school and security for everyone who are protect the oceans, the communities. And what makes me hope, and wow, this makes me feel emotion, but what makes me hope right now is that I live in the most protected areas of mangrove in the world. So sometimes I wake up and okay, we still have the best forests, and this makes me hope too. We keep alive. Is that what makes me go on every day? Is that we still have a greatest area for protect.
Thank you so much. I'm crying with you. You can go ahead.
No, I cried so fast. So no, okay. Okay, I will unite the governments, ONGs, the scientific community, local communities, and the private sector to work together, because I think that's the key to achieve really good things and to achieve and to create like this. If I can create this connection, I think we can achieve so many things that we can do like a really good change in the world. And what is helpful for me is that we're young, we are passionate, we have so many passion. We want to do everything, go everywhere. We feel like we can do everything. That we have so many energy inside our bodies. So we just have to learn how to use it. And if you can contagious other young people, I think that's what I feel we can do something. We're loud, we're happy, we really want to do something. We want to everyone notice the things that we are doing now and the things that other young people are doing. So I think that if we share this energy with everyone, we can contagious others and we can create a really good change and a really good connection with people that feel the same passion that you feel. So yeah, that's what makes me feel that gave me like hopeful of the future of the other young people and the kids that are going to turn into young. So yeah, that's what I feel now.
Thank you so much, Havel. Well, now I think I will share my closing remarks as well. I think besides everything you all said, because I agree with everything you all said, if I had a magic wand, I would say that I should try to be mandatory that youth has voices in every country, in every not only local but regional and global communities as well. And what gives me hope, I think it's this conversation and the conversations that we will have afterwards, and we will continue, because I don't remember if I said on this meeting, but from what I know, we are the only group engaging youth on this process. So I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy that we gathered all these amazing professionals and institutions to talk more about how youth can engage more for the ocean and ocean's governance as well. And I think that was my closing remark. I will just I would like just to thank Amanda and Marina for collaborating with me to organizing these panels. And I would like to thank each one of you, Pedro, Victor, Bruna, Havel, Mark, for joining us today. And if you all want to give a closing remark as well, Amanda, now you showed up. If you want to give a closing remark as well, you're welcome. The floor is yours as well. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. I would like to thank the conveners and the organizations that are making the Oceans 20 possible, and that opened the doors for us to join as well. Thank you so much, you all.